Welcome to the first tutorial for Illustrator. In this session I'm going to go through an overview of the workspace and show you some of the very basic tools that you can go through. But just before we begin, this is the Adobe website and this is the Illustrator page. If you were interested in downloading a free trial, you can do so from here. I think it's about 3 days that you get, and obviously if you did want to, you can buy now, but I think it's as a subscription for £20 a month. You can get a student subscription if you did want to pay for it, but you have to pay for the entire range. So you just need to have a look at that and we can help you. But in a previous video I have shown you some free alternatives, so possibly save yourself some money and practice with the free alternatives and use the Adobe in class. So when you very first open Adobe Illustrator, in class it may ask you to put in some credentials. So you just need to put in your student email, which is your student number at student.bpc.ac.uk. And then you just need to put in your normal password that you use to log into the computer. If this doesn't work, please ask your teacher, which is likely to be me, and I will help you get into that. When you first open up Illustrator, you'll see any previous projects that you've been working on, or you can start a new file, but I would go to create new so that we can set it up appropriately. Alternatively, if you have already been working on something or you want to open a file up in Illustrator, you could just click open and find your file on there. So we just go to create new. You'll see it comes up with these different properties along here. Now I would start with A4 because that's just a general size. You can obviously choose some different sizes. On the top you've got web, and if you click on that one you'll see it's got the different sizes for our websites. If we click A4, and it already gives you the dimensions, the height and the width at the top there. You can choose whether you want it portrait or landscape. Bleed is about the amount of space alongside the outside, but I wouldn't worry too much about those at this stage. But what I would like you to do is go to advanced options, and here if you change CMYK to RGB, RGB basically means that this file would be suitable for the web. Print has a lot more colours which it is capable of using, but it's easier to go from RGB to CMYK if you wanted to print out your work. A lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing in this unit is going to be online. We will have some of it available for print, but if you try and remember to use RGB, that would be better. So everything else should be absolutely fine. So if you click create, and you'll find it looks something like this. So one thing that is good to start off with is go to Window and go to Workspace. Now at the moment you can see we are on Essentials. Click on Essentials Classic, and this is a good one to work with. You can have a go and find what you find easier. If there's something that I go over which isn't available, such as if you don't have this layers button, what you can do is just go to Window and just find it on there. Anything that you're not too sure of, again just click it and it will pop up on the side here. This is very good because you can change the width, how much you'd like things to come out, and as you get more familiar you can arrange it and save it to something that you are happy with, what you find useful. What we're going to do first of all is just run through some of these. So we've got the selection tool, and we've also got the direct selection tool. I might refer to these as the black and white arrow, but if I remember, I will call these the selection tool and the direct selection tool. You'll also notice that they have little letters next to them. These are the shortcuts. So you can just click V and you can see that it's come up with the selection tool, and that one, the direct selection tool, would be A. So if I click A, it changes it to this. If you are on a Mac, it will be slightly different, so you'll just need to check to see what it says next to those and practice with those. So there isn't a lot that you can actually do with these at the moment. These are more for when we've once started creating things, so you won't be able to use these first of all. One of the main things to show you would be the shape tool. If you hold down, see there's these little corners here. If you hold that down, it will give you a range of different shapes down the side there. So you could click the rectangle tool, or M, and draw a box on your page. Okay, so you may notice that it's white inside and there's just a black outline. Is you have something called a fill, X is the short code, something which is a stroke, which is an X as a short code. Now, the stroke is the line outside, and the fill is the colour inside. So if I click on this fill, double click, and choose a red, you can see it's changed the colour inside. And if you can do the same for the stroke, or sometimes you can just click it and either click none if you don't want there to be one, or you can choose another colour if you want that to be on the outside. Okay, now whilst you're in the rectangle selection tool, or any tool, you'll need to, if you want to click off to deselect it, you'll need to go onto your black arrow or your selection tool and just click off that way. Okay, so as I say, if you did want to get rid of the outline, you just click on it and you just click this little box with the red line going through it, and it will take that line away. So that's the shape tool. In the next video, I'm going to show you a few of the other tools there, but you've also got the type tool. You can drag where you'd like the text to go, and you'll notice that it has filled this in with a placeholder text. So you may be wondering, oh, this isn't in English. This is just, it's lorem ipsum. It's a Latin placeholder dummy text, which is used in a lot of websites. And that's just to show you what the text would look like inside. You can change the size of the text at the top. So if we change that to 24, you'll see that is a difference. And to get rid of that, you just need to start typing. And you can see it has erased that. You can also do things like you can in other software, so you can align your text. So you can have it in the center. And you can click off. So Illustrator is different to other softwares that you might have used before. So if you've used Photoshop, you'll notice that you can't just click on different graphics. You have to go through something called your layers, which I'll go through on this at a later date. But I love using Illustrator, and hopefully once you get to grips with it, you will too. Okay, so there's something called the pen tool, which is this one here, and if you hold down the button, you'll see that it comes up with some different options. I'll go through these in a little bit more detail in a few tutorials time. I don't want to confuse you at the moment, but the pen tool allows you to draw objects that you'd like to do. So if I just show you an example. So it's a very awful star that I've just drawn there. But you can see there's a range of different things that you could do. You can also, once you've clicked, you can also click another way. And if you hold down, you've got these bends. Now these are called Bezier curves, and I'll go through these in a little bit more detail at another point. But this tool is very good for when you're working with taking a drawing and importing it into Illustrator and drawing around the objects. That's a lot of what we're going to be doing shortly. So this pen tool is excellent for that. And you've also got this new one called Curvature tool. So if I click that one. So this one is very similar to the pen tool, but it has different ways of working. So you draw the basic path that you want, and then it allows you to bend and draw shapes in a lot easier fashion. So I always use the pen tool, but with this new curvature tool, it's so much easier to work with in getting those curves within your images. So we'll have a practice with both in the following tutorial and see which one you prefer. And again, if you wanted to change the color of something that you've created with the pen tool, you can do so here. If you don't like the inside color and you just wanted the outline, you can just swap them. And you'll see it just puts the outline there instead of the actual inside. Or if you just click with the black tool, the direct selection tool, selection tool, again you can just double click the box, and it will let you change the color there. So one of the other tools which you might use quite often is the line tool or line segment tool. You've got a few different ones there, like the arc tool is quite useful. The spiral tool I'll let you go and play with because it's a bit of a wacky one. It might look nicely when you're trying to create some backgrounds or patterns. So the line tool is really good as well, the line segment tool. You just need to make sure that you've got a stroke color. So I'm just going to set mine. Oh, it isn't very good, so we won't see it. So we've just chosen a black stroke there. So if you click down on the page and then you just drag, if you're on a mouse it's a bit easier than a trackpad on a laptop, you just drag to where you want it to go, and then again you might want to go from the other side, click and drag whilst you're holding the button down, and then click and drag. And then what you can do with the selection tool, you can just click and move this anchor point. Now these anchor points are these little bits at the bottom, so you can get those and you can get them to meet the other line. You see that it makes the bottom line go blue? That means that that's connecting it to the actual line. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial. As I say, it was just a quick overview. I'll go through these in a bit more detail coming up. See you in the next tutorial.